We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is it worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
We also want to make sure that there isn't a violation of people's rights with, raids, for example, that are done in coordination with local law enforcement on people who are, frankly, holding down jobs and have been in this country for many, many years.
Sir, people who are here illegally. Our police departments do 20,000 no-knock raids a year on American citizens. 20,000. And sometimes they go wrong, as in the case with Breonna Taylor. But 99.9% of the time, they just apprehend the suspects and drag them off to jail without their kids. No, they don't put their kids in the cell with them. Their kids go somewhere else, separated from their family. And they do another 40,000 home raids where they do knock. Open up, police. So that's about 60,000 raids on American citizens who are either in violation of the law, fugitives, have warrants, yada, 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 drugs, all type of stuff. So, listen, this needs to be put out there more, that like, this is just standard operating procedure. We got a lot of crime in this country, a lot of fugitive criminals, and just because you don't see it, because a lot of these are pre-dawn raids, a lot of these raids are happening in, parts of town that you might not be frequenting because you're not a criminal. And but this is not something that's going to be unique to the people who broke into our country and are stealing resources from Americans, tax-paying Americans. This is not something that's going to be unique to them. All of this 60,000 raids right here, the 20,000 no knock and the 40,000 where they do knock each year, that's still going to be happening. Your cousin who's trapping out of his baby mother house and been doing it for a year, ain't moved, ain't switched up nothing, just hot. He about to get his baby mama house raided. And maybe across the street, Rosalinda and Paco, who broke into our country illegally and are siphoning dollars off tax-paying Americans, maybe they'll get raided too. So there'll be 2 raids on that block. But under no circumstances should we, as Americans, feel like this is just going to be something that is only going to be happening to illegals. No. Our criminal element, our fugitive element, is still going to be getting raided 5 o'clock in the morning. You done shot somebody and you went on a run and you stand with auntie. And the police get tipped off that you over auntie house. Guess what? One morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, that door gonna fly open. And it's gonna be a bunch of armed SWAT team members, felony apprehension team members, storming your auntie's house with guns drawn, pointed, yelling and screaming for everybody to get down. So no, I don't feel sorry for these illegals. They're getting the same thing all other American criminals get.
I would not hire Brandon Johnson in a bakery to catch flies from shitting on the pies. I just wouldn't. Not me. I wouldn't hire him to even catch the flies. We literally, listen, we don't have time to play games with real life situations. Chicago is in a crisis. And we need a leader who is actually going to understand Chicago streets enough to be able to navigate the issues that we have, to be able to actually move forward preventative options and invest in communities and rebuild and revitalize downtown and address the housing crisis and all of the different crises that we have, education, etc., in a way that is common sense. And unfortunately, we don't have a common sense mayor. We have a puppet as a mayor. And our city cannot get far with having a mayor that's a puppet. And it's not really his fault. Brandon Johnson is just doing what he was asked to do. And he's not in he doesn't have a leadership bone in his body. But, this is what they wanted to do to buy the seat. People should have never allowed that. And people should have saw through it. But the problem was people weren't paying attention to the mayoral race as much as they should have.
President Judy, Mayor Brandon Johnson making it clear today whether it's protecting undocumented families in Chicago or his budget priorities, he will not compromise on his values. But on the budget, he seems willing to ease some of the pain on his proposed property tax hike. Mayor Brandon Johnson's proposed $300 million property tax hike has received significant criticism from alderpersons from the moment he introduced it right up until today, as public safety and other departments were getting their budgets scrutinized.
What we know is this: we are working to ensure that we go line by line to squeeze this budget as much as we can before we ask for $1 more from taxpayers.
In light of all the pushback from the council, the mayor suggesting his tax hike plan may not have been as serious as originally thought.
Well, I don't necessarily consider it as pushback. I'll say it like this. So as a public school teacher, sometimes we do things to get people's attention. And so now that we have the attention of everyone, I've said from the very beginning, this is a proposal. I'm a collaborative mayor.
But Mayor Johnson said layoffs and furloughs are still out of the question, and he won't defer making a supplemental pension payment this year. The mayor denied misreading the council when he announced the property tax hike.
My finance team continues to have robust conversations about other forms of revenue that they should consider.
Also today, with the potential loss of federal dollars for law enforcement if the city won't cooperate with the Trump administration's plans to deport undocumented immigrants, the mayor making it clear Chicago will not be bullied into helping ICE agents.
We're not going to bend or break or cower to someone's threat. We're going to stand up and unite around our shared values, and they have my assurance that I'm going to protect the families of this city.
Listen, man. You did not protect the families of that city when you allowed all those migrants to flood that city and soak up resources and debit cards and housing and all the freebies that you've been telling your own residents you didn't have. Okay? I got kids. We all have kids. Imagine telling your kids that they can't have something. You can't watch TV. No TV in this house. We woke. TV is we read some book that say TV is not good for kids, so you can't watch TV. And then the cousins, the uncles come in from out of town with their kids. And all of a sudden, the TV gets dusted off and plugged in, and you get to watch TV while your cousins are there. But what he did is he said, your little cousins get to watch TV, but you still don't get to watch TV. So we're going to break out the TV, bring it down from the attic and dust it off and plug it in. And your little cousins who are visiting from out of town, they can watch TV. But you got to go in another room. Go play with some toys. Go read a book. We're all going to be in here watching TV. That's what he did. And then he gets up here and says he cares about the families of Chicago. You only care about one group of families in Chicago. And listen, this is a Democrat. This is a liberal, a leftist, a Marxist, a communist. He's standing firm. He's standing tall. We'll see this throughout the country. We'll see some resistance to what the Trump administration and the American people by proxy, what we voted for. We'll see resistance to what we voted for as a nation, unilaterally, roundly, what we roundly voted for. We'll see resistance to that. Okay? We're going to see some resistance to that. And am I shocked that he's one of the first resistors? No. And will we be successful everywhere? Probably not. Let's just say Chicago resist this and they find some way to keep their migrants and from being their illegal migrants from being deported. Then that's something that the people of Chicago will have to deal with next time this guy's up for re-election. But you know what the people of Chicago are going to do? They're going to vote for him again. And if they don't vote for him, they're going to vote for somebody equally as woke or more woke, just like with Lori Lightfoot. When they got rid of Lori Lightfoot, they elected someone further to the left of Lori Lightfoot. Him, this guy. They elected someone even further to the left than Lori Lightfoot. They went from a lawyer. They went from a lawyer and Lori Lightfoot to a public school teacher and Brandon Johnson. So the people of Chicago asked for this. This is their problem. If this becomes a stronghold for migrants and other migrants say, hey, Chicago's holding it down. Let's all go to Chicago. And they have another migrant crisis because the migrant communities, they talk. They say, okay, well, everywhere else is ICE agents is raiding and kicking butt and taking names, but in Chicago, we're safe. Guess what's going to happen? All the migrants are going to flee to Chicago and go hide there. And you have another migrant, even bigger problem. And then this guy's 4 years is going to come around and Chicago's going to vote for somebody even further to the left than him. So I don't feel sorry for these cities. I don't feel sorry for these people. Even though we understand that he doesn't care about the white and the black families and the Hispanic families that are native to Chicago. Neither do they. Because they're going to either re-elect him or elect someone further to the left than he is. Get in the comment section, man. Hit the like button. Peace.